Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, I just finished watching the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. Also, if you guys want to talk about it, let me get the comment section up. If you guys want to talk about these movies with me, the chat, or it's an open invite. And, of course, they're going to be pulling that crap. So, hold on one moment. Let's try again. And, of course, it's going to pull that again. So, give me a second, and I will have to do it through my YouTube. Let's go to my Messenger. I don't know why this is doing this now. Alrighty. Now. Okay. How you doing, The Price is Right review? Good to see you. So, let me just use my phone here. We're going to be talking the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. and why they are very good movies, in my opinion. Just let me get the damn StreamYard link in the chat. Unfortunately, I just tried doing it twice, and YouTube rejected your comment. This is fairly common when sharing a link. You may need to share the link another way. I'm the frickin' host of this damn thing, but yeah. Ay, ay, ay. So, copy. There we go. Turn down my phone. Make sure I don't overlap. And awesomeness. Now, paste. And there we go. If you guys want to come in, there you go. Side note, your review on Paris was good and hilarious, LOL. DM me on Twitter. I will DM you on Twitter, so give me a sec. Or unless you want to come in and talk it here. Let me also get my headphones in. Jeez. That way. And thank you for that. I try to do my best when I do my reviews. So, the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. Well, there we go. One of the very interesting things that make those movies so good is when it came to Sherlock's drug habits, well, they had a former drug addict doing the movies, so that was good. Robert Downey Jr., basically, this was when he was getting his career back on track. Now, let's see here. Oop, somebody messaged me. There we go. But yeah, you want me to DM you? I'll DM you. Just gotta find you first. Price is right. Oh, there you are.
Yo, what up?
How you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, sorry, my phone's acting up, so I took a bed to get here.
Oh, gee, if you want to come in, you can come on in too.
Yeah, like I said, my phone's
well.
acting up, so.
Yeah, it happens. But yeah, what did you think of these movies?
Me personally, like when I watch the Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr., I kind of get Pirates of the Caribbean vibes when you think about it, the way they dress up the scenes and all that kind of stuff. But as far as story wise, it were decent. They weren't perfect, but they were decent in my opinion.
Yeah, I do like how they actually did set up the Moriarty in the first one. I mean, they didn't have.
It was good.
Yeah, they didn't.
See, for me,
have the.
Yeah.
Say again.
I was just gonna say that, like I said, going back to the Pirates of the Caribbean vibe, when you watch the scene, it kind of gives you that weird. I can't even explain it, but it gives you that Pirates of the Caribbean atmosphere. And when you see all these different mysterious things about Moriarty, stuff like that, thought it plays pretty well in that movie.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I did like about this was the Holmes vision, where he takes a look at a situation, then he's just running it through his head. And it's pretty cool how he's like, or he can just observe a person and then know just how to take him down if it calls for that.
Yeah, and that's one thing.
Go ahead.
That's one thing I like about Sherlock Holmes. He perceives the world differently than we do, because, like I said, he's an investigator. So I try to see him as like one of those investigators who's like on. I don't know if you ever watched Criminal Minds or not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that Spencer guy, which is named from Criminal Minds. He has that kind of mindset. He has that intuitive way of looking at the world and stuff like that. So he basically knows how to read the situation, read people, pretty much.
Yeah, he's a behavioral analyst.
Exactly.
So to speak.
Exactly.
Which is what Criminal Minds was part of, the behavioral analysis unit, the BAU.
Yeah. So, like I said, I apply that to Sherlock Holmes in the older times, right? Because back in those days, they didn't have that. So, someone like Sherlock to be proficient in behavioral analysis and situational awareness, that's like ridiculously good,
Mm-hmm. And
so I enjoyed that.
The beginning of that movie, where he's basically racing Scotland Yard to the crypt, was very well done. And it's like, you see him just for like a split second, you see his face, and then it's like right back into the chase, and then he's going down into the crypt.
Yeah.
Cripples the already crippled guy, basically.
Yeah,
and then makes his way down.
Yeah, that's very true.
And
now, go ahead. Keep going.
Go ahead.
No, keep going. I was just trying to do something quick.
All right. The chemistry between Jude Law and Robert Downey Jr., that is something that was very well done. I mean, they played off of each other so well.
Yeah, that's how I kind of apply the Pirates. Yeah, that's how I kind of apply Pirates being with Jack and Will Turner. That's how I see them right there.
I mean, honestly, I see better chemistry between Jude and RDJ a lot better than God damn it, Depp and
You're good, bro.
what's his name? Yeah, what is it? Who played Will Turner? God damn it, Orlando Bloom. Yeah, Depp and Bloom. But one of the cool things is they just played it so well. I mean, there's certain scenes and certain dialogues that they have, and it's just how when they're in the thick of the moment, they truly are basically almost of one mind in a way.
I agree. Yeah.
Except when emotions get in the way. Now, this is at a time where basically they're getting ready to split up because, well, Watson has a God damn it. He's getting ready to move in with his fiance. Gosh.
Yep.
And he's like, basically, it's like, what is Holmes without Watson?
Agreed. Yeah.
And when they're when he's moving his stuff out, and you hear the gunshots right after they finally get their bad guy. Can't even remember his name. I just watch these damn movies and I'm blanking so badly.
You're good, bro. I was going to say something real quick as far as Watson and Sherlock Holmes.
Go
I don't
ahead.
see it I don't see it as far as the actors working together. I see it more as, like I said, the characters work well together, like
Yeah.
how they interact with each other. Because that's how I see with Jack and Will Turner, how they interact together. They have talents that bounce off each other. Because Sherlock Holmes was the intellect. He was a really intuitive intellect. But while Watson was more the observer, he was the observer. Now I would say sidekick. He has his own strengths that played off of
Mhm.
Sherlock Holmes, and that's the one thing I like about this movie because I don't know if you ever watched Tombstone before. Ever seen
I have
Tombstone?
yet to watch the whole thing or the whole
Yeah,
thing.
I want.
How you
Well,
doing,
when you
Aggravator?
hey, anyway, but when you watch the movie Tombstone, I want you to pay attention to the relationship between Doc and Wyatt Earp because me as a history buff, Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday were considered. Well, some people consider Doc Holliday was a big sidekick, but in historical references, he was more of an equal in other ways to Wyatt Earp. That's how I kind of view Sherlock Holmes and Watson, Jack Sparrow, and Will Turner. Each of them would say would be equal to each other, but had different talents that bounce off each other. And that's how I kind of see these films.
That's a fair
With Sherlock
assessment.
Holmes. Yeah, yeah. So
And
if you ever get a chance to watch Tombstone, then apply the Tombstone with the other movies.
I will definitely be looking for that movie because a lot of people have said good things about it, and I actually do want to eventually see the whole thing.
Yeah. And that's what I like about good storytelling is they bring together two characters that you would think there were not, I guess you say, meant to be together or partnerships or anything, but then you realize their talents kind of bounce off each other in a perfect partnership kind of thing,
Yeah.
like a Batman and Robin almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause a lot of people revere Wyatt Earp as a legendary lawman, but they also regard some people also regard Doc Holliday as the faster draw of the two. So it's like a interesting equal dynamic. So I see that with Sherlock Holmes and Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
2009.
I did like in the Sherlock
Okay.
Holmes movie where they did the whole explanatory scenes where they show you how it all went down. Because as an observer, you're watching this movie, like, how does he know this? How did you get this? But then later on, the movie shows you how he figures it all out. It's like, wow, talk about intuitive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you think about those? What do you think about those kind of scenes that helps you figure out the whole mystery?
What? Well, that's
What,
basically the draw of it for me. It's when it
mm-hmm.
came to the Holmes movies,
Yeah.
that was the one thing that was basically how does his mind deduce what went on? Because that's
Mm-hmm.
one of his brilliant parts of his mind is his ability to deduce simply through the most unorthodox methods back then. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
now they're kind of commonplace. I mean, back then they looked at him like, is this guy crazy or is he a genius?
A
It's
genius.
very hard to distinguish the two. When
Yeah,
he is in fact a genius, it's just that his methods are crazy.
yeah, agreed.
And you even see Watson, he's like, you're not human. He's just always so upset with them, especially when they got arrested after the fight with Dredger.
Yeah.
But back in or before or when they were in the house and you hear the gunshots and he's like, no, that was hammer and nail, wasn't it? And then he's like, yeah, just excuse me. And then he goes in, permission to enter the armory granted.
Yeah.
And he's like, Watson, I have been trying to come up with a device that suppresses the sound of a gunshot. Boom. And you see that he's just doing a pattern and it's like, it's not working. And I don't think they've actually come up with suppressors for revolvers yet. So,
not that I'm aware of, no. So it's pretty interesting.
I mean,
I don't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, you really can't suppress a revolver, I don't think.
No. Well, you also got to remember about one thing about those days, because back in those days of the early 1900s, I think, 1800s, yeah,
1890s.
That time. Yeah, around that time, anyway. But when you got to think about it, those kind of methods that that Sherlock Holmes was doing, they weren't considered "quote unquote" proper. He was kind of even though the people see him as crazy, but he's also a genius at the same time. It's his methods is more unorthodox to the times during his time, you know.
Yeah, and
Because like,
we'll actually touch on that in a bit. One of the great things about that scene is, in that scene, Holmes is doped out of his mind.
mm-hmm.
Remember, Holmes was actually a drug addict. He did, he shot himself up with heroin and the 7% solution. And Robert Downey Jr. being a former drug addict, it's like he knows how they would, or how he would act.
Yep.
So he has that kind under his belt. I mean, not to say anything bad about RDJ, but he got in trouble. He got into drugs. He went to jail. He came back. He got cleaned up and whatnot. But this kind of thing helped him in this kind of case because he's playing somebody who is a genius but also a drug addict.
Yep, that's very true.
And when when Watson pulls the shades open, he's like, ah! Screaming and rebelling, or just repulsed by the light. It's like, and that's it's just so great. Exactly. And he's like, be gentle with me, Watson. Ah! And he opens up another one.
Yeah, that's another factor about the whole Sherlock Holmes and Pirates of the Caribbean. They bring a lot of that hilarious, like, weird humor you don't think about. You're like, it's so funny to think about. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, most people.
I was gonna say, especially he's playing that flute where he tries to make the fly. He's like flying in a circle when he's doing that stupid flute. That was so cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's another thing we'll touch on. It's when a lot of people don't realize that he is high at that moment because they don't see him doing the drugs.
Yeah.
But he's doped up. He is doped up, and he's like, you need to work. He's like, my mind rebels at stagnation. Give me problems. Give me work. And so he's like, look at all these cases you could do. So Watson reads off one case, and he's like, he's in Paris with the scullery maid. Next, and then he's just naming off all of the damn things. It's like these are just too freaking easy for him. He wants a challenge. Mm-hmm. And then when everything is said and done, he's like, lo and behold, who shows up? The one person who bested Holmes, which was Irene Adler.
Yeah, true. Well, the one thing I will say, but I don't think he wants to wait. I don't think he bested him, but it was more he caught him off guard because he did eventually stop her though, or at least catch her for what I've heard. But you know,
he did, but he always let her go because he was in love with her.
Yeah. So that's where you're right. Yeah, he did let her go. Yeah.
I mean, she could best him. She does in this movie. She actually knocks his ass out. And it's like, can you taste the comet? But yeah, she always can get a one up on him. And he's like, is that the Mirage's diamond? And he's not even looking away, but he just slips it up. And it's like, yeah, every time you come into my life, you're always fucking it up, basically. But he still lets her do it. But he's also intrigued in what her game is. And I just love how he hides and follows. And then they show you after how he does it. Rachel McAdams was a perfect casting for Irene Adler.
See, my thing is, he lets her get away with all these weird things, but applied to this Professor Moriarty is a whole new level because Sherlock Holmes, Professor Moriarty did something just like she did, but he went to the extreme. So in my opinion, that at least from what I've read, Professor Moriarty was defeated by Sherlock Holmes, but at the cost of his life. So it wasn't really,
because
when it comes to her case, he let her get away because she likes her game. He likes her game, but applied that with Professor Moriarty, he just went all out on that one.
Well, Moriarty, and we'll get into this later because we're touching on the first movie first. He's only a very bit character, a very small character in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, he's very behind the scenes. I mean, you only see him twice in this movie. Once where she meets up with him and says that he'll take the case, and twice at the end
Yep.
when he steals a component to the machine that Blackwood was creating.
Exactly.
And it's like he shows up as a beggar right in front of the carriage. He's like, to basically get the inside of what's going on with Adler, and he just pulls that freaking gun. He's like, go save the queen. He basically realized, okay, I've learned what I need to. Now it's time to go and not get my head blown off.
Thing. See, I'll say one thing though. Another factor about her versus Moriarty. If she was a man, then I think Sherlock Holmes would have just like outsmarted him or outsmarted her very easily, because even though she kind of quote unquote gets away with it because he lets her, but if she was a man, he would squash her intellectually like very quickly as far as his intellect, you know.
Well, intellect not so much, because it would be the same intellect. It's just that he would not have the same reservations. I mean, he would admire Irene if Irene was a guy. He would admire that person's intellect. He would respect him too.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is that as far as like you're talking about how Sherlock Holmes wants a challenge, but I'm saying because she, in my opinion, she was that challenge, but he was letting her get away with it. But if she was a man doing this kind of same thing, he would probably be more, I guess you say, invested in fighting back harder. Because, like I said, Sherlock Holmes, is, in my view, is much more intuitive than she is as far as figuring out, you know, mysteries and stuff like that. But he's letting her get away with it because, like I said, he likes her game. But if she was a man, he would just go all out, taking whoever that was down, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the. I will say this: it is one of the main reasons why he was so taken with her, was because it was a woman who had this level of intellect.
Exactly.
And one of the things I did not like about the Elementary show, and we're only going to touch on this very briefly, is that they merged Irene Adler and Moriarty. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was just the worst thing they could have done.
I agree. See, like I said, with that show, I never watched the show because I don't really care, but it does give you that weird monetization of that. So I thought it was interesting. Yeah. I just never watched, you know.
I actually liked the show's earlier seasons, but after I was incarcerated, I couldn't stay up to date with it. So,
yeah.
Plus everything was going woke, so eventually that one looked like it did too. But
seems like it might.
This one was, or these movies, the one with RDJ, after he takes he's like a ginger, or he's a dwarf midget. Freaking Sherlock he's like, midget. He's just so freaking decisive that to call this guy a midget, and it's like, midget, the ginger dwarf is a midget. It's like, oh my god, it's just so
that's hilarious,
screwed up and funny.
That's one thing about Sherlock Holmes. He says it like it is. He doesn't care about, you know, someone's feeling. He just says like it is.
Politically incorrect. He's politically incorrect.
Exactly.
He has no etiquette. When Watson invites him to dinner to meet his fiancée Mary.
Yeah.
He's like, Watson knows exactly what Holmes will do if given the opportunity, so he doesn't want him to have that opportunity. But Mary gives him that opportunity, and he puts her in a very uncomfortable position to the point where she douses him with her drink. And it's
that's what I'm saying. But, in my opinion, that in that moment, Sherlock Holmes became red pill in that sort of sense, because he read how she behaves. That's what the problem was. He read how she behaves. That's why.
Well, in a way, yes, but he also acknowledged her, or he just observes her for like 6 seconds, and he's like, "You're a teacher," or what did he call her? Basically, a tutoress or whatever. And she's like, well done. And he's like, the boy you were tutoring is this age. He flicked ink at you today. And she's like, is there ink on my face? There's nothing wrong with your face. You have a little bit on your ear. And he just goes, and simple by all the observations, when he's talking about her previous relationship, is when she starts getting visibly uncomfortable because her previous fiance died.
Yep.
And she actually tells him, right on all counts except for one. I didn't leave him. He died.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, it's the next day that Watson goes to visit him. He's like, you have the grand gift of silence, Watson. It's what makes you the ideal companion. And then Watson just freaking speed jabs him after, and he's like, I've already known she was married or she was engaged or whatever.
See, that's one. Yeah, see, that's like I said for me as a red pill man. Like I said, or just in that general sense, he was reading how she behaved. Like I said, he understood that he understood that she was, a teacher from her own intellect, but he also read about. Well, I guess he already knew that she was already married, so he kind of played on that and like discovered how she behaves, quote unquote.
Well, it was simply just by what she looked like and what she wore. He knew that she was a teacher, yes, but it was the necklace that she had that was basically loaned to her by her employer.
Yep.
And it's like, and then the ring or the band on her finger, which is faded. I mean, everybody who wears a ring has a faded band on their finger.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
I wear a ring too. And it's like, yeah. So they attended the thing or the hanging of Blackwood, the guy that they arrested in the beginning of the show who was murdering a bunch of women. And well, he rises from the grave, and I just love what he says. It's a matter of professional integrity. No woman wants to marry a doctor who can't tell if a man is dead or not. It's just the way that he freaking delivers that line when it's like, as Blackwood said, he's risen from the grave. He's like, I pronounced him dead myself. Well, then consider it a professional courtesy or curiosity. No woman wants to marry a doctor if he can't pronounce or tell if somebody is dead or not. And it's just like, oh my God. That is the one way to get Watson back into the freaking thing. And then they find... Yeah. Then they find the ginger midget. He's like, well, Irene or Adler's dwarf midget. it's like, oh my God. Seriously?
See, like I said, man, Sherlock Holmes, he says like it is, man. He doesn't have no filter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he also, in a way, I sometimes think that he might be autistic because it's either he is purposefully politically incorrect or he just doesn't know that what he is saying is wrong, or not wrong, but considered improper.
Ooh, but you know what? Now as you mentioned that, I actually kind of believe he might be on the quote unquote spectrum. Because you ever watched The Good Doctor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how now I just think about it. That's how I see this Sherlock Holmes. Just not too like the same as The Good Doctor as far as politeness and kindness, but he's more eccentric. He's kind of imagine if The Good Doctor was really eccentric and speaks his mind with no filter. That's basically who Sherlock Holmes in this movie is, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so,
and
I enjoyed that.
When Adler gets the best of him again and knocks him out, the way that, or from what I'm referencing, basically, when the maid finds him, he's like, ma'am, I need you to stay calm. The key to my release is underneath this pillow. And she just leaves, and it's like, I'm glad she called the police. And then he's talking to the police officer, or to the constable, as he's getting, he's getting escorted to another place. And he's like, and scullery maids used to be such a liberal profession. My wife was the scullery maid, sir. And you see how uncomfortable that just made Sherlock. He's like, he doesn't know how to, and he's like, but just as well, it's good she called the cops, otherwise we never would have found you. And that is so hilarious. When he's realizing that Sherlock's not saying anything, he's like, just kidding about the wife, sir. And then that's when Sherlock's like, okay. But yeah, it's just so well done. And then he's like,
exactly.
Why did you drain the water? Common decency, sir. Decency would have been, or would have left everything untouched so we could figure out what the hell's going on. Oh. but also
I agree
his
with that.
methods where he steals stuff in order to learn things and whatnot. He's like fear, or when he's also covered over his face, and they take the mask because they want to hire him. He's a secret society and all that stuff, and he's like. So I guess the only problem is, why would you even feel the need to uncover me at all? I mean, I know exactly where we are. I know exactly who you are. So it's like, what the hell? Why did you even do this? Because, I mean, I can smell the bread from the bakery that we dropped. I felt the bump from the frickin' row. I know exactly where we are. So the only question is, why did you feel it important to even blindfold me at all? And then he deduces that Blackwood is this guy's son. He's like, he was conceived from a ritual, or from one of our rituals, not from my wife. And I was like, yeah. So he's like, let me ask you something, sir, whatever his name was. If Blackwood needs all his aunt, how long before you die? Food for thought. And Blackwood, or it seems that Blackwood kills him through magic, but Blackwood's a scientist. He knows chemistry. Yep. He knows that if you put this in the water, he'll frickin' suffocate because it's clogging everything of him. Yep. It's just such a great movie. And everybody's like, why wasn't it Moriarty? Well, Moriarty is his end game. Moriarty, sure, there are other people with great intellect, but Moriarty was beyond any of them. Blackwood was very well received and well influenced. He also was very smart, but he also was cocky too, because he underestimated Sherlock. Yep. And it was only because Sherlock went down the rabbit hole, because Holmes actually gets injured in this movie and nearly killed. Yep. And he's like, or he actually, Holmes being a master of disguise, pretends to be the doctor, and frickin' Mary just sees right through him. And it's like, is that the best you can do? Yes, for now. And then he starts walking off, and she actually acknowledges him, basically letting him know, yeah, I know who you are, but I want you to also know that he loves you basically like a brother. And as he's walking off, solve this. Whatever it takes, solve it. So basically, that is, in the movie, it's a very powerful moment, because it shows that Mary, even though Sherlock was she doesn't like him, but she understands the need for him.
Agreed, yeah.
And it's very powerful because she's embracing that, in a way, she does need him. Because she needs him to help solve or get rid of the danger that has befallen her and her fiance. And it's so well done. And also Irene Adler helps, and but she's also got her own agenda, and he's running up, woman! He's like, woman!
That's one thing about great. Yeah, that's the one thing about like Blackwood or Blackheart, I forget his name, but Blackwood and Moriarty. Blackwood, Sherlock Holmes, Moriarty. You know, they all have one big thing in common. They're like, I guess you would say, the quote unquote scientists of their time. They're really intuitive about. They have a different way of perceiving the world and how they're able to get away with a lot of stuff they get away with. You know what I mean? But then they meet Sherlock Holmes. He's the opposite of them. He's just as he's just as smart or intellect as they are, but he uses the talents to tear them down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's it's like you have like one investigator genius who's investigating genius scientist who knows how to create the perception of their crimes. You know what I mean?
Yep. And then there's the inspector that's very inept, but does come around. And he's like, I need your help. This is what's going on. But you don't see that until after.
Exactly.
And it's like, and he's like, he's been saying some pretty weird things about you and the order. Pulls back his lapel, sees the little pen. He's like, well, I guess that solves the great mystery of how you became inspector.
Yeah.
And he just
Exactly.
sucks right in the stomach. But also by doing so, he gives him the key too.
Yeah, talk about just shaming him for his job on that one.
Yeah, it's like, dude, seriously, you are a klutz among law enforcement, but somehow you made inspector.
Yep.
Fuck,
Exactly.
I'm not even part of law enforcement, and I make you look like a rank. Not even an amateur. You're just a rank. You're just rank nothing compared to me. But he still respects the law too.
Yeah, but he just lets him have it. It's so funny to watch too. He's just a useless idiot, pretty much.
Yep, basically. But he's but it's because his law enforcement that he's a useful idiot, which also comes to play later on in the second movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second movie yet. I'm not really familiar with it.
When he's talking to Moriarty, he's like, "Yeah, it's been given to one of the dumbest inspectors of Scotland Yard." But,
yeah, like I said, I've only seen the first one.
When he finally gets to the to the end where he finally corners Blackwood, he's like, "There never was any magic," and then he just gives it. He's like, and it's just so great. The movie and the way that he does it is just, or the way that he does each scene.
See, here's
who directed these movies.
Yeah, here's another thing I figured out when I was watching the first one. Like I said, I haven't seen the second one, but as far as the first one, when I was watching it, with Blackwood doing all his mischievous mysteries, where some people think it's magic. You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Well, the way he's doing that, when he's manipulating his mystery to look like it's magic, he's using what magicians use called misdirection. He's using a lot of misdirection in his mysteries, and people are saying, "Oh, it's magic," and then, like you said, he just said there is no magic; it's just misdirection. He's misdirecting their attention.
It's just cheap parlor tricks. It's clever chemistry and all that.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that got lit on fire by his own pistol. It's like it was, or it wasn't magic. You were just pouring accelerant on him that he thought was rain, and you switched out his pistol with a dud shot that would backfire.
Exactly.
That's simple. Everybody thought that their offering that they drank would or was their sacrifice and lament to protect them from your powers, but all it was the antidote to the poison you were about to unleash.
Yep.
You killing your own father, you didn't drain his life out of him. You suffocated him using using the brass from his tub. It was just easily deducible or deductible.
Yeah, like I said, that's all misdirection from a magician standpoint. Yeah.
I mean, everyone in England would have thought it magic, except those who truly are smart enough to see through it. The fight that he also does in the middle, or before he actually goes up to his room, where he's also high as hell or drunk as hell, or whatever it was with the flies. But the way he was also fighting when he first saw Irene Adler, it's like this, or when the guy's like, "What are you doing? We're not done yet," and he spits at the back. He's like, "This cannot go unpunished," basically, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
And then he just imagines the whole damn thing, and it's like, block the blind haymaker, do this, go straight to the jaw, clap the head, there you go, and he's done. And it's just like, wow, less than 10 seconds, and then he just turns around, throws the thing, and does it. Now, the second movie, I love how they took the unpredictability of Holmes' vision, or the predictability of Holmes' vision, and introduced the unpredictable
Moriarty
aspects of reality. Not just Moriarty, but with the gypsy and whatnot. And take that scene, for instance, with Numi Rapace, who plays the gypsy. He's like, or there's a Cossack above you that wants to kill you. So he grabs the umbrella, basically goes about how he's going to do it, or how he's going to kick his ass and whatnot. And then he starts getting into it, but what he didn't account for was, well, maybe what's-her-name had knives, threw them right at the guy. So he couldn't complete his, it's like, okay, that happened. What the hell?
Yeah.
Also, Moriarty's second in command. I forget his damn name, but he was always poisoning the guys that were helping Moriarty at first in the beginning of the whole thing, where she was delivering a bomb to one of the freaking scientists, and he's like, "Stay while I verify the contents." And she's like, I assure you the payment was in full. And then Holmes shows up, and it's like, yeah, that's not quite the package you were expecting.
Yeah.
It's more of an incendiary kind. And she's like, and he's like, oh, well. And he's like, well, I assure you my evening has been quite ruined. Thank you very much. And it's just, oh, wow. It's like,
so I got a question,
if you move,
for you.
You're dead within an hour. And he's like, he's the Napoleon of crime. He wants you dead. Perhaps you've heard of me. My name is Sherlock Holmes. And he's like, oh, by the way, fire! He lights a fire in the freaking auction house. And then he puts the bomb in a freaking Egyptian sarcophagus.
Yeah, that's hilarious to me on that one.
Do you know how much you owe that bank for blowing up that sarcophagus? Not to mention you bid £1 million. So how do you solve that?
Good question.
Like, £1 million. Everybody's like, ah! Oh, by the way, fire. Yeah.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. So you know how there's only 2 movies of the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. And it's only sort of speculation, but how would you make a third movie if they were to give you the rights to make a third movie for Sherlock? How would you make? The movie
is already planned.
But I'm just saying for speculation. How would you do it? Yeah. I got my perfect story.
Honestly,
I'll wait.
I don't know. Honestly, I truly don't know. Basically,
I would.
They had a great ending with the second one because, yes, Moriarty is dead and Sherlock is believed to be dead, but it's like, how would Sherlock go on now that he's basically defeated the ultimate challenge? He literally saved the world.
That's why I have my idea. If you want to hear it,
sure.
Well, my idea was, like you said, of course, I only see bits of the second one, but from what you just told me, that they're both perceived to be dead, quote unquote. But the third movie, I would make it to where Carmen Sandiego is the nemesis, and he has to chase her. Right, the whole movie be the perception that she is causing all these thieves and she's committing all these thefts, she's stealing a lot of stuff. Then out of the blue or somehow the shadows, Sherlock Holmes returns to help kind of bring her down. So it'd be like a Sherlock Holmes versus Carmen Sandiego kind of movie. Where
that would be interesting. I mean, Carmen Sandiego is much more modern, but I don't see why they couldn't.
But think of it this way: the way I would do it is it'll be one of those situations where neither side wins. Where you know how Sherlock Holmes is always getting his person, whoever he's trying to get. Well, Sherlock Holmes would catch her, but he wouldn't bring her in, and whatever Carmen Sandiego is trying to steal, she would never get. So that's how I would end the movie, where both sides don't win and both sides don't lose. Where
it's balanced out.
Exactly. Something
kind of like what he does with Irene Adler in some ways.
Exactly. So that's how I would do it. So Carmen Sandiego, where she's trying to steal stuff, he catches her, but he doesn't quote unquote bring her in because he's intrigued by her game. And then likewise, she has the same respect for him for catching her. He's the only person who's actually able to catch her, quote unquote. You know what I mean?
The only problem that I see with this is Carmen Sandiego is pretty much kind of just a modern day Irene Adler.
True, so, but I'm saying if they were to play that on this version of Sherlock Holmes, that would be interesting to see, in my opinion.
I mean, it would be interesting. Don't get me wrong; it is a very interesting concept, and I would actually go as far as casting Rachel McAdams to play Carmen Sandiego, to have somebody who looks like Irene, reminds him of Irene.
Exactly.
That's why it's so thrown off.
Exactly. That's what I mean. If they were to pull something like that and in a Sherlock Holmes version of that, that'd be perfect in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Now into Game of Shadows, as we just started going into, where who is it that plays Moriarty? Let me look that up. Or you can look it up really quick.
Very good. Yeah, like I said, for me, I've never seen the second movie. I've only seen bits of it, so I have to watch the entire thing. But I heard it was like okay, just not the best in my opinion. Not in my
I
opinion.
thought it was good.
Yeah, from other people. Yeah, I might check it out sometime. But I just think that if they were to make a full trilogy that was real good, like real received, I think the Sherlock Holmes series with Robin Downey Jr. would be awesome. I mean, fully complete.
Oh, yeah. Cast. Alrighty, now search.
But
just that plays Moriarty.
Yeah, but just think about that.
Harris.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, Stephen Fry as Mycroft Holmes was very well done too in that movie.
What about the Benedict Cumberbatch one?
I've never watched that one, to be 100% honest.
Yeah, I heard it was probably kind of interesting, but it just seems odd how he plays it, in my opinion. But
yeah. Sebastian Moran is Moriarty's second in command.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Huh.
But yeah,
I'll say
so what?
If I'm gonna choose the best Moriarty in my personal opinion, believe it or not, it actually comes from Star Trek Next Generation, the Sherlock Holmes episodes. You ever see that?
Yeah, I saw them when they first came out, I haven't seen them since.
Yeah. When you the Moriarty character. Hey, what's up?
Nice. But go ahead.
No, I was just saying, the Moriarty in Star Trek was probably my favorite as far as who's really he's a Moriarty who would really show himself when he's winning the mystery, so to speak. So I think he was the best Moriarty in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
But yeah, like I said, I enjoy those. I enjoy those films. I just wish there was a third one to really, quote unquote, complete it. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I'm just reading a members only thing from Lethal here.
No worries.
Yeah, I just recently became a member on his channel, Lethal Lightnings.
Yeah. Sadly enough, I can't be a member on everyone's channel because I follow so many people in the Phantom Menace. It's like hard to really be a member of everybody. You know.
Oh yeah, trust me, I know what you mean. I only am members to 4 channels, and that's as much as I can afford right now.
Yeah, as far as I know, I got Ryan Kennel, Geisha Gamers, and Nerdrotic.
Ryan Kennel, Odin, Lethal, and Mara.
Yeah, Mara, she's pretty chill. Yeah, I always enjoy watching her stuff.
I mean, believe me, when OG and Stephanie from My Nerdy Home, when they get monetized, when their channels get monetized, when a friend of mine's channels get monetized, or when they finally get to that level, I do something that I don't really do all the time, but I do it as a one-off, an orange super chat from the Orange Hat, which is $20 or higher.
Yeah.
And it's like, congratulations. So you're getting 20 to give you a good kickoff. Freaking Subhuman always drops like 300 to them, and it's like, Jesus, man, if I ever get monetized, do not do that to me. You will give me a heart attack. Not to mention, you'll probably cut me off my freaking SSI and shit.
That's very true, yeah. And that's one thing for me. But for me, I've been trying to get my channel up and running because I've been doing so much work from all this pandemic. Because I want to break my wall down and join the community, but do my own channel. It's just hard to do with so many changes in YouTube. You know what I mean?
Oh, trust me, I hear you, man. It's not. I just got above 500. I'm at 511 subscribers right now, so I'm halfway to monetization. Subscriber-wise, I still need a ton more watch hours, which is why I'm doing the versus streams and going to do the Harry Potter streams.
Well, for me, it's not the subscribers, the view parts. For me, it's more all the weird quote-unquote changes where you can't say certain things, and I might have to, like, I guess you would say, walking eggshells, the way you have to say. I'm like, because for me as a conservative, I'm really outspoken, so I'm the kind of conservative who's willing to speak my mind. Just like Sherlock Holmes, I'll be polite, but I'll be blunt with my honesty. And so it's kind of hard to really balance that out.
Man. Yeah. I mean, yes, I'm conservative, and politically, I am central or center right.
Yeah,
But
that's cool.
because I've noticed a lot of censorship going. They just basically went full tyrant on Reddit and a couple other places.
Yeah, it's
So it's
stupid.
like,
Yeah,
you know what? I'm done with
and
politics.
and,
I
that,
don't
and
want
that's
to
what,
discuss
yeah,
politics or any of that crap.
yeah, and that's what makes it hard for me because I'm trying to make my channel similar to the Cording, where he reviews like gaming, TV, or entertainment and news. I'm trying to do something similar, but from a conservative perspective. It's just hard to really do that without knowing if your channel is going to be deleted overnight. You know.
I know. I mean,
Yeah.
I do what I do. It's strictly entertainment news and movie
Exactly.
reviews, show reviews, plus the versus streams and discussions.
Exactly. Me
And
too.
I just like to keep it simple. I'm not a person that has a huge computer. I'm on my Kindle right now. This is what I'm doing it from, is a Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have the microphone. I don't have the camera. I have a Kindle. That's all I do it with.
And that's a good start.
It's not the best quality, but it's the best I can do. Now, if I do eventually get monetized, I'm definitely putting any money I get into the equipment that I need.
Well, thankfully for me, I'm the opposite. I already have all the equipment I need. I just need to get my thing up and running. But with all these hours, with all the pandemic happening, because I work as a security officer for a courthouse, so my hours are doubled like crazy. So when this COVID-19 all breaks down or calms down, I'm hoping to finally break my wall down and join the Phantom Menace community with all you guys. You know.
Oh, dude, you're already in.
Yeah, you, Ryan, Ken, or Lethal. Yeah, we're all a huge community. I enjoy that. I mean, I want to be officially in as far as
Lethal doesn't, or Lethal agrees with many of the Phantom Menace's things, but he doesn't really, or he's not really in it. And this is his own words, not mine. He's like, I'm apart from the Phantom Menace, but I still support them.
No,
how you doing,
doesn't
Lyndon?
have to be officially in it. Yeah. Hey, what's up? Yeah, but I'm just saying I'm just saying the community at large, we all have similar views as far as what's going on in Hollywood and movies and SJW politics and BS stuff like that. Exactly. So I'm hoping that after this pandemic calms down, I'm hoping after this pandemic calms down, I'll be able to. Yeah.
But yes,
I'm hoping to break. Yep. So I enjoy
it going. Yeah. As for Angry Vader, no, I have not seen Holmes and Watson. I do not watch TV nowadays. I mean, yes, I do review TV shows and whatnot every now and then, but when it comes to an actual TV, nope. I will watch whatever I need to on streams or whatever I need to do. But mostly, I'm a very movie-oriented person, or if it is a series, if I can catch it on Netflix, I will.
See, I'm very specific when it comes to reviewing TV shows. There's so many TV shows you have to really be specific about because they're so filled with SJW politics or anything that's not really relevant to the story. And you're like, why am I bothered watching this kind of stuff? So I'm like, I have to be very specific what shows I watch now these days.
Yeah. Also, again, if anybody wants to come in and also discuss, so we can get back on track, the Sherlock Holmes movies. Here's the link. I'm putting it back in StreamYard or in the chat. So if you guys want to come on and discuss the movie or the Sherlock movies from Robert Downey Jr., come on in. We're on the second movie right now, but if you want to jump back to the first, we
come on in.
I have no problem doing it. I plan on going for maybe another hour, which, by the way, I should share this because I told my friend.
Yeah, good idea.
I told him I would do this before I even got started, and I never did.
No worries, man. No worries. See, like that's the best thing about learning as being a YouTuber.
This guy is like a brother to me, so it's like,
that's pretty chill.
Chris, where are you, buddy? I mean, my friend he's not going to come into the movie. Stuff in my face before work. I'll be off soon. That's all right, Lennon. Sometimes I forget. They're like 12, 13 hours ahead of us, or 11, 12, 13 hours ahead of us.
Also, on a side note, did you see my comment on your recent video?
My recent video?
The recent video on your Paris with Love. Did you see my comment?
Well, I saw the one in here, but let me check in a sec.
Yeah, the one review video you did for Paris with Love, I did a comment that kind of sums up my feelings about it. It's a pretty fun video. I enjoyed that movie too. Yeah,
Dude, that one was done right, in my opinion.
no, I agree. Yeah, I'm saying if you see my comment, you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah,
Well, I'll do a live checkout right now.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I suppose the Love was a very entertaining. I guess you'd say one a popcorn flick to me. It was pretty fun.
It is. Yeah, that's definitely exactly what it is. All right, YouTube Studio.
Yeah, no worries.
But back to
Sherlock Holmes.
God dang it. Yeah, that. It's an under. Well, Jorge Arenas from Bounding. It's an underrated film, in my honest opinion. Just a fun popcorn flick with action. That's indeed true.
Yeah.
Now let's go to current things. Price is Right reviews. There we are. I won't lie, John Travolta as Wax would be fun and oh, I did see that. I even hearted it too, I believe. Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Yeah, but I'm saying a movie like that is like a fun action popcorn flick to me, but it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I would love to see him. I would love to see him in an Expendables movie. I really would.
Heck yeah, especially playing Wax. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, that would. Let's get back to
Sherlock Holmes. Here we are.
Right. Yeah. You haven't seen the second movie?
No, like I said, I've only seen bits of it, but I didn't see the whole thing. So you're gonna have to run me through the whole thing. I don't mind if you spoil it for me because I'm gonna watch it anyway. So just kind of run it through with me, if you can.
All right. So you don't mind being spoiled?
No, I don't care.
All right. Well, basically, it's like maybe a year after the events of the first one.
Okay.
And Holmes is basically obsessed with Moriarty at this point.
Yeah,
because at the end of the first movie, he found out that Moriarty had killed a cop, and he's like, the game's still on, basically. Your thoughts on Benedict Cumberbatch's portrayal as Sherlock Holmes PBS? Sci-fi guy, I honestly have no opinion on it because I have not seen it.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
We're just talking about the movie.
Anyway, keep going.
The RDJ movies. But basically, Moriarty is setting up the world for a world war.
Okay. Almost like a George Soros, almost.
Yeah. But it's like before, or this is like decades before World War I. And he's pitting Germany and France against each other. Basically, the anarchists and another group.
Mm-hmm.
And he is using different people for different purposes and then killing them when they're no longer useful. And he's just basically Holmes he knows exactly who's behind it. He can't prove it because Moriarty is a very powerful and influential person.
Yep.
And Jared Harris plays it perfectly.
Yeah, I bet.
And when Irene Adler meets up with Moriarty, Irene Adler dies in this movie.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
Okay. Moriarty killed her. Wow, so it's like, yeah. It's like, or he's like, so do you think that it matters that, or she's saying that Holmes stopped it, but yeah, your guy killed him and whatnot. And because she knows just how dangerous he is, so he has to meet them in a very public place. And he's like, do you think that meeting here makes you safe? And then he basically gives a signal to his little henchman Moran, and he just bangs, and everybody just gets up and leaves. Everybody except for Moriarty and Adler, and it's like, I don't blame you. I expected you to succumb to I know you've succumbed to your feelings for him for months, but this isn't the first time that Mr. Holmes has inconvenienced me. And honestly, if you want to go, by all means, go. And even though she asked for a fresh pot of tea and new cups and everything, she still got killed because, well, everybody is freaking basically owned by Moriarty at this point. And he gave her it was a rare strain of tuberculosis.
Yeah.
And whatnot. Sorry, pretty much just guy here. It's okay. I'll rewind your Streamlander. Thank you. It's okay, sci-fi guy. But yeah. And she truly does succumb to it quickly. As she's walking away, she dies. And he just goes right back to tinkering with his food and his tea and whatnot. It just shows you just how devious and psychotic Moriarty can be.
Yeah, when you talk about that way, I kind of see him as like I said, George Soros, but he's also like an Al Capone. Like he feels untouchable because he's influential and he's very powerful. But he's also, like you said, like Sherlock Holmes, he's very intuitive. He knows how to play the game to where it benefits him while he gets away with it pretty much.
Yeah, and after, or I believe it was before, or Moriarty actually gets visited by Holmes because Moriarty wants to see Holmes. But it was after the stag party or bachelor party, so to speak, of Watson, just the night before he gets married. And Watson getting drunk and betting and whatnot, but also it's also the scene where he meets up with the gypsy, and she realizes that, or she's also important because her brother was working for Moriarty and yada yada, and so he gets because he's trying to protect the gypsy, and they all fall onto frickin' Watson's poker game right on top of his money because he's winning it all, even drunk as hell.
Okay.
He's like, no, wait a minute. And everybody just goes for the money. He starts beating, and they all get into fights, and he's like, and at the end, he's like, where is everybody? Where's you? I just got into a fight. And then follows, I just got into a fight. And it's just great. The next morning, they show up at the church, disheveled and everything. And
that's hilarious.
He's trying to wake up Watson, and Watson doesn't want to wake up. And he sees the bagpipers, and he's like, to get him to pipe up.
Yeah.
And they pipe up, and the way you see Jude Law, he's like,
what?
And he looks at freaking Holmes. He's like, I'm going to kill you.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. They are still so freaking disheveled from last night, and they didn't have any time to clean up. And also, Holmes has one of the very first automobiles.
Okay,
and it's
nice.
Cool. You also get introduced to Mycroft Holmes, the brother.
Okay,
played by Stephen Fry, man, great actor. Have you ever seen V for Vendetta?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've seen that one.
He was the talk show guy that.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah,
made a fool of the prime or of the chancellor.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
He plays Mycroft Holmes, and so after the wedding, Moran, what's his name's henchman, Moriarty's henchman, he's like, Professor wants to meet right within an hour or whatever. He's like, all right, fine. And he goes to meet him, and he's like, and he's basically in the lion's den. He is in the lion's den with Moriarty. So he is observing as much as he can. And that is the true genius of Holmes, because we all know he's very observant and he's able to deal with things.
Exactly.
But he's also dealing with somebody who knows their own, or who knows what he's doing as well.
Yeah, he knows the game, yeah.
Yeah. And so he's like, why don't you just back, or he's basically trying to tell him to back off, and you do know that I am going to win, and this and that. Basically, it's a dick measuring contest between the two. And he's like,
exactly.
But he's also saying, he's like, so how's the good doctor? I heard he got married today. He's like, or how was the wedding? He's like, very dress dreadfully boring. You don't need to worry about him anymore. He's out of the equation. And Moriarty's like, okay. But then he asks for Moriarty's autograph in one of Moriarty's books. And Moriarty signs it and whatnot. He's like, have you ever partook in the study of inscriptions and or handwriting, basically, the study of handwriting?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I've never given it any serious thought. And so friggin' Holmes gives him a little taste of it, and basically saying that he's a narcissistic psychopath. And that's when Moriarty's like, no. Per your previous request, I will not leave Watson out of this.
Huh.
Basically, he's saying, you want to fuck with me? I'm going to fuck with you right back. Watson will die.
Yeah.
Or celestial, and he basically says it perfectly. It's like celestial mechanics. When two huge objects collide, there is a destruction of a collateral nature.
Yep.
And he even tells him, I look very forward to meeting the doc or to seeing the doctor and his wife.
Yep. So for me, I see it as more Moriarty and Sherlock Holmes are sizing each other up intellectually in that sort of sense. They're trying not to show each other their cards are full deck, if you know what I mean. You know the phrase, wait till all the cards are on the table. So it's like Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty are trying not to show both their hands yet until the game started.
They're playing it very close to the chest. But the thing is, with Holmes, he can deduce the greatest things from the smallest details. He notices there are dead plants on his windowsill, yet he has a book called The Art of Domestic Horticulture, basically a planning book. It's like, The Art of Domestic Horticulture. Yet this guy has dead plants on his windowsill? All right, there's something there. And he's like, and then I've seen several times your little red book, and it's all code and whatnot. And it was very easy to break your little code. Now, in order to do all this, Holmes is put in so much peril, but he also has to keep Watson alive too. So Watson and Mary are on a train going to their honeymoon in Brighton. And Holmes is in there, but at first you don't know it's him. You see that Watson's like, or he hears, I'm sorry, man, but the loo is closed, right? Or is only reserved for this people. Well, the guard was saying that to a woman. You don't realize that woman is also Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, yeah,
He's
that's right.
Master of disguise.
Yep.
And when he realizes that there's or that somebody had sent him a new bottle of champagne, he's like, we didn't order that. Cumulus of the whatever, sir, and whatnot. And it's like, then everything starts happening, and he defends himself on the train, and Mary grabs the gun. He's like, open the door, John. And they throw him off or they throw the guy that assaulted him off the train. And as they get ready to leave the other room or leave their little area in first class, Holmes is already taking care of the other guys outside. And he's like, yeah, hi, or basically like, yeah, I'm sorry. He's like, so he's telling them wedding gift from Moriarty. Basically, all these people are here and whatnot to kill him, but he doesn't say that to them yet. He opens up the area where they just threw out the guy, asking Mary, or is like, I understand how dreadfully uncomfortable it is. Do you? And he's like, do you trust me? Or he's like, do you trust me? No. Well, we're gonna have to work on that. He throws her off the train, and she falls into, or they're just going over a bridge where she falls into the lake, and freaking then Watson notices that Mary's not there, and he goes, he's like, she's safe now, and freaking Sherlock's like, she's safe now. In my own defense, it was well timed, He's like, did you just murder my wife? Did you just murder my wife? Of course not. What does that mean? And he rips off his knickers and everything because he's still dressed like a woman.
Exactly, yeah.
We should take this outside, basically. So they're they're on the side of the train. He's like, why did you lead them here? Why did you involve us? They're not here for me. They're here for you. Fortunately, oh shit, so am I.
That's absolutely hilarious. That's absolutely freaking hilarious.
So they get into a thing with an elderly couple, and he comes in right from the outside of the train. Good evening. Pulls his gun. I think second class will be good for this time of night. To the south, quick march. And he's lying on the ground when Watson gets in there. Lie down with me, Watson.
That is creepy as hell.
Lie.
Yeah.
I insist. Pulls him down. And then he's like, what are we doing down here? You are waiting. I am smoking. And so then an automatic weapon starts shooting through the train houses, and he just grabs him, and he's like, what do we do now? Giving you your shot or your opportunity. Make it count, and it's a one shot. So when there's a clog in the gun, and it shows what he did to clog the gun and all that stuff using a lip gloss or a lipstick thing and whatnot. And he's like, and so when they finally get the lipstick thing out of there and start shooting again, after Watson shoots the guy in the arm that's about to arm a stick grenade that's like German, and it gets caught in all the other ones, or in a bag full of other grenades, and he's just desperately trying to fight it, but while the other guy is shooting with the automatic gun again, and he's like, I said make it count. How many opportunities must I provide? But he didn't realize that he nicked the guy that accidentally pulled the pin on a grenade already. And they blow the frickin' train apart. It's like, and he's pissed off that Moriarty came after him. He's like, I was on my honeymoon. And he's like, who wants to go to Brighton anyway? I need you, Watson. In order for me to stop this man, you will never be safe until this guy is done, or until this guy is stopped. He's like, what about my wife? I told you I timed it perfectly. And then it goes back to the scene where she got thrown off the bridge, and she's in the water and waiting and whatnot. And there's Mycroft Holmes. He's like, good evening, Mrs. Watson. I'm the other Holmes. Oh, God, there's two of you. And it's like, oh, gosh. The way that Mycroft and Sherlock get along, it's just so freaking great. And so she's taken to Mycroft's estate. But yeah, you
can just imagine how pissed off she is when she's throwing off into the lake, and she's like, "Oh, she's safe," and she's singing in the water, just like with her hands crossed, like, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
Yeah,
that's funny.
And so so they're going to Paris. Yeah, he's like, so once more under the breach, and he's like, "Thank you, Watson." Now where are we going? Paris, the ideal honeymoon spot. He's making fun of him for going to Brighton. He's like, I could have taken you to Brighton. I wanted to go with Mary, my wife, not you. It's just so great the way that they're just so at each other's throats and whatnot.
But yeah, and at the same time, when they're at each other's throat, and at the same time, they also have mass respect for each other at the same time as well, which is hilarious to me.
Very true, but Watson he just wants out. He wants to be happy. He wants to be with Mary and all that stuff.
Exactly, yeah. That's just funny to me. Absolutely hilarious.
They have the gypsy's bag that he met before.
Yeah.
And so they're returning the bag to her. And they find the gypsy camp, and he's like, just don't start anything and we'll be fine. And they're taking all of their stuff, and one of the gypsy guys is like, Nimsa, or what's her name? Nimsa, yeah. He's like, this is Nimsa. Nim is a goose. Yeah. I'm Nim. And he's like, nice scarf. I like. He just took the scarf that his wife made him. And so he punches out the freaking, Watson punches out the gypsy. And that's what everybody's like okay, we're about to carve your ass up now for that one. And Watson's like, oh, or not Watson, but Sherlock's like, oh, great.
Yeah.
It's
I can
about
imagine.
her brother. Or it's like, it's about her brother. He says it in French, and she shows up. You hungry? Famished. And so they're eating freaking hedgehog goulash.
Ooh.
He's like, I must say, you make one hell of a hedgehog goulash. It's the best
That's
I've ever
hilarious.
tasted.
That's
I
hilarious.
can't remember when I've tasted a better. I can't remember when I've tasted a better hedgehog goulash. And so Watson, being the dick that he is, he's like, "Tell me, when was the last time you had a hedgehog goulash?" I told you, Watson. I couldn't remember. Well, perhaps you have repressed it. And it's oh gosh, he's like, "How dare you insult this woman who fed us and sacrificed her hedgehog?" It's just so fucking great. So
Exactly.
they convince them to help him, and he's like, "Do you have anything?" So they convince him to help him, and he doesn't. And well, you learn that Sherlock doesn't like horses, and
Okay.
he's like, "How'd you say it?" They're crafty at both sides, and something in the middle, or they're noisy from both sides and crafty in the middle, or something like to that effect. He's like, "It's 1891. We could have chartered a balloon because they got to get to Germany because, well, Moriarty's in Germany. So they're using horses, crossing different areas because they got to avoid all the major border crossings."
Yeah.
And you see freaking Holmes on a pony. He's traveling behind. He's behind them, trailing behind them, and you see freaking the pony just trotting along. Where's the fire? he's just dropping lines like, "Where's the fire?" Oh my god, and whatnot. It's just so great. So they get into Moriarty's place in Germany that he just acquired from one of the people he killed.
Oh man.
And yeah, that's when he gets captured by Moriarty, and he finds out, or he's finding automatic pistols and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's basically an arms factory.
Gotcha.
And Moriarty's like, there was a telegram sent from here. Who was it sent to? And whatnot. Where was it sent? What'd you say? And whatnot. And he's like, so I noticed, and that's when Holmes is just basically saying, okay, notice this, notice this, notice this guy. You're basically pitting these people against each other. Your idea is to start a war. But before all that, he was they were still in France. I should actually not skip this. He's in France, and he thinks that they're about to bomb an opera house. And Moriarty is at the opera house, but he finds a chess piece there instead of a bomb. And he realized that he was duped. And so the bomb goes off, killing a bunch of people, but there's one person with a bullet in his head. And they realized, and so they're up at the sniper nest, and he's like, and how many of them served in Afghanistan, because he found a little bit of tobacco that was only found in certain people. He's like, there's only like 3 people who could have made this shot, and they find out who Sebastian Moran, or who he was. He's like, Sebastian Moran is not a guy he was dishonorably discharged. He's not a person you want to screw with. And it's just so great. I mean, they just deduct or shows the powers of deduction and whatnot. And he's like, okay, we need to get to Germany because this is where he's going to be. And while he then gets tortured, Moriarty puts a giant hook, right into his arm, through or under his clavicle and out the back of his arm or his shoulder, and hoists him up and whatnot, and just starts pushing him around, basically loosening the hook and everything, and then drops him and whatnot. And he's like, who did you send the letter to? All the while, Sebastian Moran is playing sniper to Watson trying to shoot him, but Watson gets a humongous cannon and is ready, and Moran sees him pointing it at him. And he's like, "That's not fair!" And he jumps off and he blows a freaking huge smokestack over Watson or Sherlock and Moriarty. Yeah. But during that time, what you don't realize is that Moriarty's very important red book was just switched out. So then they have to escape, and they find out a couple of interesting details. There are twins that are after him. One twin goes down, but the other one is not, or still going after him and whatnot. And it's like, those twins that we saw back in Germany weren't twins. I know, or my curiosity was aroused back then because he never went to the aid of his brother. If a twin is shot and their sibling is there, that twin is going to go to the aid of their fallen brother. Gotcha. So the guy that was killed in the beginning of the movie was a plastic surgeon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm picking up what you're talking about. Okay, you go.
And it's the reason why that twin looked like, or those twins weren't twins. It was a guy that was made to look like the other guy.
Yeah.
So after they escape from the factory in pursuit, they get on a train. Holmes dies. His heart legitimately stops. And one of the things I forgot to talk about was in the beginning of the movie, Gladstone, the dog from the first movie. You remember the dog?
Yeah, I remember that dog. Yeah.
Well, the dog is killed again, or the dog is killed again. He's like, perfect opportunity to test out my latest invention. It's adrenal extract from a monkey or whatever, from, I can't remember what he said it was from, but he pops it into Gladstone. Gladstone takes off, and he's alive and well and whatnot. And he gives the other shot to Watson. He's like, consider it a wedding gift. And after Holmes, his heart stops and whatnot, and Watson tries administering CPR. He's like, I'm not going to make it easy on you. And he starts smacking his chest, starts doing the pumps. He's like, wake up, you bastard. I'm not. And, well, Numi Rapace, who plays the gypsy, she hugs him and while he's dead, and he's like, he suddenly comes to realize his wedding gift, and he pops it into Watson or frickin' Sherlock, and Sherlock bounces right up again. He's revived from the adrenal shot. He's like, and he's like, terrible dream. You married Gladstone, and I were in a restaurant. That satanic pony was there as well. A massive fork in his huff, and he turned on me. What did you administer? Your wedding present. Well, who's been dancing on my chest? Me. And he's like, me. Why is my ankle so itchy? Because there's a large piece of wood sticking out of it.
Ooh.
It's because they were near explosions of trees from heavy ordnance going their way. So a piece of wood got in. He's like, no, just leave it in. Just leave it in. And he pulls it out. He's like, oh, you be nice. And he's like, here, drink this. It'll help. And so he drinks. He's like, did you call me a selfish bastard? Probably. Because when he was dead, he actually did. He's like, I know you can hear me, you selfish bastard. I'm not going to make it easy. Doing all that stuff. I do love that. That was one of the funniest moments in the entire movie.
Yeah. As far as I'm going to have to watch it myself. I want to watch it through now you're talking about it. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to.
You're going to like it.
For me, I'm trying to put all the pieces into place as far as the story goes. So the way you're saying is pretty good. But I'm gonna have to get going because my phone's literally about to die about 3%. So, all right.
Yeah.
So I'll see you around. Okay. All right. So I'll see you around. Okay.
Yep. Take it easy, dude. Thank you for stopping in. But anyway, folks, we're gonna continue on. We're gonna continue on and talk about this. So yeah, after Holmes is like, we should go home. Yeah, we should go home via Switzerland, because they realize that, well, Moriarty's going to Switzerland and he's going to start his war there. But yes, the movies are so great. And thank you to Sci-Fi for stopping by. I am actually going to start wrapping it up soon. But this movie was just so great. And the last moment where they tried doing Holmes vision, you now get Moriarty vision, because he's like, come now. You think you're the only one who plays this game? It's just so great, the dynamic between Moriarty and Holmes. This movie, or the Robert Downey Jr. movies, were truly movies that I recommend everybody see who hasn't. Anyway, folks, I am going to wrap it up now. Thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank Price is Right Reviews for stopping in, coming on in. Sci-Fi Guy, Angry Vader, Lyndon Howell, OG Star Wars, and Price is Right Reviews. Thank you all for stopping in and listening to my ramblings and discussions with Price is Right, and for listening to the Holmes movie discussion and whatnot from Robert Downey Jr.'s Holmes movies. They are truly great movies. I think that a lot of people should see them and hopefully enjoy them. Anyway, folks, before I do go, I do have one thing to announce. I have the live stream for the Versus stream coming up on Friday. It's going to be Darth Cadus, Jason Solo versus Ben Solo's Kylo Ren, the emo bitch. That's going to be Friday, this Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. Let me pull up the panelists to see who we got. We got OG Star Wars. I know she's definitely going to be on that one. We also have Raging Rhino, who's going to be on that one. Let's see here. Mara Jade from Jade Shadow, and Lethal Lightning, and Jane Theory. All 5 of them are going to be joining, and we're going to talk who would win between Kylo Ren or Jason Solo. And we already know who's going to win, but we're still going to have that panel. Anyway, the next week's Friday, in between this Versus stream and the next one, me and other panelists are going to be discussing the Harry Potter films. So the Versus streams and the Harry Potter streams are going to be every other week from each other. And let me just pull up the panelists for those ones, or for the Harry Potter streams. There we are. The panelist for that one is going to be Lorena Creole, Moira Kitty, Sean Stackhouse, and the Guilt Man. And we have 2 rotating panelists, AFK Bard, who's going to be an odds movie, 1, 3, 5, and 7, part 1. And Ambassador will be on year 2, 4, 6, and 7, part 2. So definitely stay tuned. Those are also going to be Friday nights, 9 p.m., the weeks in between the Versus streams. So if you guys want to check out the Harry Potter streams, those are going to be going on for a while. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Subscribe to anyone who is in, or all the names that you hear that I'm about to call out. Subscribe to them. Sci-Fi Guy, Angry Vader, Lyndon Howell, OG Star Wars, Price is Right Reviews. The Price is Right Review. Subscribe to them. They got great stuff going. OG Star Wars does great content, and we're trying to get her monetized. We're trying to get her the watch, or the hours watched that she needs. And Lyndon, he just broke 100 subs a while back and did his first live stream. He does live streams, sports live streams. Australian Football League, I think, is the AFL streams that he does. He also does videos on certain things as well. Check out his channel. They do great stuff. Anyway, folks, if you're catching this on the replay, let me know what you guys thought of the Holmes movies that Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law played in. Did you like them? Did you not like them? How would you rate them out of 5 or 10? What was your favorite parts in them if you did like them? All that stuff. Anyway, folks, this has been Orange Hat Reviews. Stay humble. And always remember, be kind to those who are part of your foundation. If you engage with them, they'll engage with you. And if you stay humble, your channel will flourish. Take it easy, folks. Catch y'all